Hey, Holly.
Hey, Dave.
What are you doing with yourself? You are on the What Difference Does It Make podcast.
So what am I doing with myself? I've been waiting patiently to be able to chat with our guest today, Arielle Nissenblatt, Podcasting Hall of Famer.
Woo woo!
So Arielle has agreed to listen to some of our shows, give us some feedback, and she has also agreed to talk with us about a list of songs that were played on KROQ in 1989 from the year-end list. And since she is a generation behind us, her views of it might be a little different than some of our other guests, which I'm very much looking forward to hearing.
We'll play some music for her and she'll give us some podcast suggestions. It's kind of a fun little exercise that we're doing, fun podcasting exercise and a fun music exercise. It kind of stretches our breadth of our podcast right now.
Yeah. Well, yes, definitely. Because if you are a podcaster, if you have a podcast, or if you are an avid podcast listener to a variety of podcasts, you will get some really great information from Arielle.
We got to spread ourselves into different buckets. What would you want to put us in?
A basket. Basket sounds prettier.
Where are some of these baskets located?
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Blue Sky and Threads and TikTok at WDDIM Podcast. And you can go to YouTube and find clips of all of our podcasts, including this one with Arielle, at What Difference Does It Make Podcast.
Yeah, we also have a website. Hey, you can find all our past episodes and sign up for our newsletter, which I guess is a thing that you need to do. We are located at WDDIMpodcast.com, which stands for What Difference Does It Make Podcast.com. Okay, let's get into our talk. We are talking with Arielle Nissenblatt. She is a Podcast Hall of Fame member. We've talked to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame members. Now we're talking to Podcast Hall of Fame members.
Voted into the Podcasting Hall of Fame.
This year, in 2026, she got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so now she's going to share her expertise with us on the What Difference Does It Make podcast. Recording. There we go. We're going to find out what the name of this lady is. Arielle.
Oh, I say Arielle, but she might say Arielle.
All right. We're going to see what she says. Yes. We'll call her Ari.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
We're already in a fight. How do we pronounce your first name?
Oh, it's not a fight because either and all are correct.
How do you pronounce it?
That's the only question that I allow here because I say Arielle, but then when people say to me like, oh no, I want to get it right. Like there's no right. Like my best friend says it differently from my mom, says it differently from my aunt. There's no right.
Mom goes. So what does mom call you?
Air.
Okay.
Okay. This is an East Coast, West Coast thing,
Yes,
I think.
it's a New York accent. My cousin in LA calls me antenna.
Perfect. I love it.
Because of an aerial antenna.
Yeah. Does she know an aerial
Well,
antenna?
just because of this nickname.
Are you a native New Yorker?
I am. I'm from Westchester, but I lived in LA for 4 years. As I was listening to your show, was like, I get it. I do. And I understand the places. Cantor's Deli apartment sounds great.
Oh, look, you did listen.
Yes.
Oh, yay. We are trying to figure out the direction of where we're going to go with this. What is the game plan?
So a few options. First, I've done a podcast appearance before where I am the millennial in a show geared towards Gen X called Stupid Gen X Tricks. And we kind of did what do you think of this Gen X thing? And then they would tell me what they think of this millennial thing. So I listened to all the music and I really love countdown style shows. So I really liked your episodes. I also am a big listener to a radio station here called 107.1 The Peak, WXPK, Briarcliff Manor, White Plains, New York. And they do some really cool like countdown-y stuff. So I feel like I understand the flow of that. And I also can hear that you guys are radio people. So when I do like a traditional audit, I say first some content ideas, what I like, what I think could be improved. And then I do a little bit of marketing ideas. But first I need to hear a little bit about you, your goals, all that good stuff. So what we could do is like bring me on as this person who is a millennial who like might not be the target demographic of this show, but wouldn't it be cool if you expand to this demographic? And then I can like ask you some questions about your audience and whatnot.
You got that, Holly?
Right, that's a good hack. Yeah. Yeah, but my 60-year-old adult brain might not remember when we started.
Something that Dave mentioned is I was saying yesterday, but it was an episode that I listened to yesterday. You finished a sentence or a thought on a question mark. And that is something that I'm working on too, is I know this, so why am I asking? Same with starting sentences with I think when I know. So I actively edit myself as I'm speaking.
That's a good one. The ending in a question mark. Super sensitive to it. So thank you for pointing it out. I've noticed it more in your generation and younger.
Huge.
Which is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We're supposed to be sure of ourselves.
Yeah. Especially if we're the experts.
What about ending a sentence with an extra D or something? Like, oh my God, duh. That's amazing.
That's Valley talk.
No, I don't know. I watched The Traders, and Lisa Rinna is doing that as well. Are you into The Traders? I love The Traders.
But I follow a lot of pop culture podcasts that talk about it.
Okay. How many podcasts are you listening to a day?
A lot. I listen to about 5 hours a day. So I don't really count the number, but it averages out to about 5 hours a day.
Are you okay? So are you walking the streets of New York
Sometimes, but also cleaning, commuting, and between meetings, I hit play. I'm not really a music person. I don't identify as a music person. I think everybody is a music person to an extent just because it's all around us. But I really identify strongly with I'm a podcast person.
And how fast do you listen to a podcast? Are you a 1.5, 2.0?
Mostly 1.8, but the app I listen to allows me to choose for specific podcasts and set it. So I'm 1.8 on most, and then on This American Life, I'm 1.3 because they talk really fast.
Okay.
What was the first podcast you discovered when you got into it, when you found out this was your listening of choice?
The first one that I actively remember choosing is Serial, the first ever season in 2014. I think before that, I had listened to a bunch of public radio adjacent or public radio related shows that the hosts came out of public radio. So like Radio Lab, 99% Invisible, The Memory Palace, The Illusionist. These are not all public radio specifically, but shows that were highly produced. They were kind of an era, and a lot of them still exist. Yeah. And then after Serial is when I was like, I need to do whatever it takes to listen to everything out there, which is impossible. But
yeah, every day we're discovering more and more and more what's out there.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can discover libraries, catalog is just, it's overwhelming.
It's amazing. And what about you guys? When did you start listening?
Okay, I have to admit, discovery is my issue, so
Same with everyone. You're not, you're not alone.
But I don't gravitate to podcasts. I gravitate to music. And usually the podcasts that I listen to are the ones that people recommend to me.
Word of mouth is still the biggest discovery engine.
And I don't even necessarily, aside from the daily, I don't usually listen to anything continuously.
I'm a big LAist, but when I was there, KPCC, today I started a live stream and I started it with, we're live, we're local, we're LA's NPR. Just stuck on that. You know how things like weasel into your brain and they don't leave. So
like earworms.
Very formative years.
Okay. So live streams terrify me. I feel like we'd be a tree that fell in the forest. So
it's a different vibe entirely from a recorded podcast. I've only allowed myself to do these as an experiment on Substack because I recently went to a networking event and somebody from Substack was there and was talking about how they're prioritizing video and trying to create an ecosystem within Substack itself where creators get discovered there and a consumer will start by finding somebody on a video and then follow them and then eventually subscribe to their newsletter and then eventually become a paid subscriber. This obviously is not going to happen with every consumer and every podcaster, but I took that seriously and I allow myself to mess up and be live and then post the video afterwards with a bunch of caveats. And it's fun.
How does your marketing mind feel about that model?
I am still very much in the discovery phase of it and the experimental phase of it. I have been writing a newsletter for years on what used to be MailChimp, and then I moved it over to Beehive. This is my weekly podcast recommendation newsletter. And I have also been writing a separate newsletter on Substack since 2021. Only recently have I decided to lean into the recommendation engine within Substack. It's very easy to cross-post and to recommend other newsletters and have them recommend you. So I'm experimenting with that as a landing page for my main newsletter. So if people find my newsletter on Substack, they get an automated email from me saying, I'm going to move you over to my Beehive. Thank you for joining. But then I also have spin-off newsletters for my main podcast recommendation newsletter that I put on Substack itself, just because it's free to do. And I'm really experimenting with it and seeing which take off.
And I realize we're going off on this is not at all what we agree.
No, I mean, I feel like it's a good way to test out some potential marketing avenues for you. So feel free to ask. And then also feel free to say, like, what should we do?
Yeah. So you're a fan of lists as well. I mean, we love lists, and clearly you love lists. You are listing. Lists. Yes. So you're curating some podcasts. I mean, you're listening to 5 a day. How are you curating this for your newsletter?
The way my newsletter works is actually relying completely on other people's recommendations. When I started the newsletter, I was in LA. I was driving all the time. I was stuck in traffic, almost miserable. But then I realized that podcasts were my lifeline. And I was listening to the same 4 or 5 every week and worrying about what I was missing out on. And I reached out to some friends and asked them to share their 5 favorite podcasts. Some overlapped, some did not. And then asked them to ask their friends. And that's what got me thinking, what if we listen to the podcasts of our friends, essentially pre-vetted? These are somebody's favorite podcasts. So the way my newsletter works is that each week is curated by a different person, and anyone can curate a list. And over time, a lot of people who have podcasts themselves have reached out to curate, and I allow them to pick one of their own episodes as part of their theme. So the goal is, yes, to get some ears and eyes on their show, but also to get some ears and eyes on the other shows that they like and recommend. And it has resulted in almost 9 years of lists every single week. I've never missed a week, and a really extensive archive of recommendations, very searchable, and kind of a time capsule, because I started this newsletter in 2017 and some of these shows don't exist. Different styles existed, different advertisers are embedded within those shows. So it's cool. And it's the best thing I've ever done for my career. And it was because I genuinely wanted to do it.
But that was one of the first things you did, right? That in
Yes.
the podcasting area.
And because of the podcast I was listening to, giving me ideas constantly, I pitched myself as essentially a podcast librarian to a bunch of different co-working spaces in Los Angeles. And one place in particular was interested and wanted to build a podcast studio, asked me if I could do it. I said I could, then figured out the rest. So I managed that studio for about 1.5 years. And while I was there, I was doing events for the podcast community while running my newsletter. So the newsletter was great because it allowed me to reach out to people that I respected and creators in LA and beyond to say, do you want to curate for my newsletter? And also, do you want to get a coffee and tell me about how you got to where you are today? And then I got to reciprocate that favor that they did for me by inviting them to events and maybe putting them on stage and giving them free tickets to storytelling events that either I was running or had connections with. And all of this resulted in just building goodwill, and people thought of me for jobs, and people started reaching out to me to get their newsletter featured, sometimes editorially, and then sometimes they had some money to put behind it. So I was able to monetize my newsletter in a way that legitimized me. And I used all of this to continue building goodwill. I still try to build goodwill to this day. The reason we're having this conversation is because I offered to do an audit of your show. And I do these for free because I like listening. It challenges me to listen. Also, with preparing for your show, I got to listen to music, and I actually discovered some songs that I like. And it's just cool. I'm a very curious person, and I think it shows. And I know that it makes my life better, and it has improved my life since I really started listening in 2014, technically, but 2016 is when I skyrocketed my listening time.
You were doing this based on your own interest in the podcast and how relevant you thought they were, had nothing to do with how successful they were already.
Sometimes it was people who had big podcasts. Sometimes it was people who I just liked their show and wanted them to curate a list for me. Actually, over time, people started sending me press releases for shows, and I would hit them back and say, sure, I'll cover this in my other newsletter, which is more of like I just share headlines, but also, would your person that you're representing like to curate a list for me? For example, you know, Alex Honnold, the rock climber who just climbed Taipei 101 or Taipei 1, whatever it is. So his publicist reached out to promote a show that he's on. And then I said, can I have recommendations from Alex Honnold? So I got to publish a list, Alex Honnold's favorite podcasts of 2025. That was so cool. And that's the kind of thing that I am still trying to do. I have a submission form on my website. Anyone can submit. A lot of people reach out to me. Would you consider covering? And I'm like, yeah, I would consider covering, but also read my website for 2 seconds, read my newsletter for 2 seconds, and you'll see that I am always looking for curators and it's free.
And as long as we're on the topic, why don't you go ahead and plug away?
The only thing that I want to point people to is if you like podcasts, subscribe to my newsletter, earbuds.audio.
And also, I mean, you gave us all this information. It's amazing. And now, probably, are you the youngest Hall of Fame podcast member now?
I have to do a fact check on that, but I definitely felt young in the induction ceremony.
Awesome. Love it.
Congratulations.
Thank
by
you,
the way.
thank you.
Yes.
You are the Sandy
So we should've led with
Koufax.
that.
The Sandy Koufax of the Hall of Fame for the Podcast Hall of Fame, right?
Thank you. I would not go on Yom Kippur if that was when the Hall of Fame was taking place, just like Sandy.
Now that we've learned what we can do, thanks to Arielle Nissenblatt, now we can tell her how she can improve her life with 80s music on the What Difference Does It Make podcast right after this break.
Welcome back to the What Difference Does It Make podcast with our guest, Arielle Nissenblatt.
Okay, we're going to breeze through some music. You know, before you were born, there was music. And yes, there was. And we listened to the radio. Were you listening to radio like in this century?
Z100 first.
Yeah.
Just because that was on the bus ride to school. But then when I was in high school, my mom discovered a radio station called 107.1 The Peak. And it's live and local and it's independent. It's Westchester, New York, the county, and then a little bit beyond. And it's so personal to where you are. The advertisers are even local businesses. And they do some really cool segments. And it's the kind of radio station that every time you turn it on, it's playing the exact perfect song for you. So I learned a lot about music there, and I discovered a lot of artists that blew up eventually. They do a really great job finding people.
The Peak. Do they have a podcast? Should they be podcasting? Should most radio stations be podcasting?
Maybe. And I guess they do have music licenses in order to do that. So that's pretty cool. I think so. I think often they're not equipped for it. And especially independent radio stations just don't have the staff to do all that. What the Peak does really well is community events. During the summer, they do a lot of live concerts and then they broadcast live from there. So that's great. People love the Peak. There's a great community around it.
Yeah, we love our PBS, we love our NPR, and we love our 80s music. So let's get into it. We're going to do 90 through 81. This was music played on KROQ, a radio station in Los Angeles. And we're looking back because some of these songs we've forgotten about and some of it we remember fondly, but it's been a fun exercise just to re-listen to this music. So we're going to go to number 90. This is by a Scottish band. It's a duo. They're brothers. They're called the Proclaimers. And it's a different song. It's called I'm on My Way, which you may know from the movie Shrek. Now, you're a certain age. I'm sure this was one of your...
Shrek was huge.
Yes, I'm sure you had the soundtrack. Did you had the soundtrack? I
did have the soundtrack.
Of course you did. Okay, good.
I saw it in theaters twice for 2 birthdays.
Yeah, it's the best. So, okay, when you heard the song, you were transported.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Donkey, Shrek, walking in the field. I knew.
You knew the Proclaimers because of 500 Miles. Did you know it from, as our kids did, from How I Met Your Mother?
I don't think so. Is it possible that I knew it from like Scrubs, the show? They had such a great soundtrack. Maybe not there, but it's been in so much. It's been in so much. Yeah.
Was soundtracks a way for you to discover music?
In a way that it seeps into you without actively.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. I definitely bought CDs after hearing singles.
You were buying CDs. Okay.
Yes. At the mall.
Well, where, like, okay, what was your first CD you purchased with your own money?
No Strings Attached by NSYNC.
A fine choice.
Yes. Thank you.
Love it.
Who was your favorite in the band?
I can recall Justin Timberlake. Was he in that one? Or
Yes.
Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, that was Justin.
But I really, I wasn't like a dictionary of music as a kid. I was more reading the Guinness Book of World Records. That was my thing.
Really?
Yeah.
List.
Did you?
Yeah, exactly. I love lists.
Another list.
I love superlatives.
What's your favorite world record?
Longest fingernails.
Really? And how long?
Shocking. I don't remember the inches,
disgusting.
but I remember that they were like curling.
Yeah.
And you can't even see where my hands are going. They were very long. Impossible to live your life. I don't know how they did this.
That had to be their life goal. I remember seeing that in the Guinness book.
Yeah, it sticks in your brain. That won't leave your brain.
That's so funny. Yeah, that was a thing. It's still, I don't know if it's still a thing. The Guinness Book of World Records, is that?
I think it is, and I think it's sold at Costco.
Okay.
What makes perfect sense.
There's a podcast for the Guinness Book, like lists. So, okay. So yeah, Holly, does this, does it give you the smiles when you hear this song?
Oh, I love the Proclaimers make me smile. It didn't conjure for me Shrek until I watched the clip. And yeah, I love them. They're just fun. They're a fun Scottish band, but not the Scottish band in my mind. We'll get to that one.
Oh, we are going to get to that one.
Moving us along.
Okay, okay. Number 89 is Ziggy Marley, Who Will Be There? I'm imagining you're in college and you have a roommate or you know someone across the hall who has the Bob Marley poster or is listening to Legend constantly. You went to Jewish camp. I'm sure there were some reggae fans.
For sure. It goes along with the ultimate Frisbee crowd, doesn't it?
It really does.
I'm tangentially aware of this music, and this song felt like I knew it even though I didn't actually know it. So yes, this one was fun. Honestly, this entire playlist, all the songs we're going to get to, first of all, fit really well together, even though they're very different.
Mm-hmm. They all come from the same year.
There you go.
And
10 great songs from one great era. So the Peak, 107.1 The Peak, does this thing called the 10 at 10. 10 great songs from one great era. So this would be a perfect list for it.
Okay, and I mentioned Jewish camp.
Guster.
Guster?
Mm-hmm. Huge at Jewish camp.
Really?
And for me still now, it's like the only concert I'll still go to. I don't like concerts.
What?
I know.
Why?
Okay, I have a few reasons. And I only recently became comfortable saying this out loud, and I own it. 1, I don't like standing for that long. Often it's a standing situation. 2, I like music in very specific circumstances. And one of those is I love singing along perfectly. And in live concerts, often they're trying different riffs. Does not work for me. 3, I get an existential feeling of they're singing at me, I'm singing at them. I don't like it. It makes me feel weird. Those are 3 reasons. I would love to know if this resonates with listeners or if I'm completely on an island.
I would too, because that is legit.
Thank you. It's my top 3 reasons I don't like concerts.
You don't feel like it's a bonding moment? Like everyone's singing the same song? We're all as one? Like we're in the same tent singing the songs? That's why you like Guster.
Even still, I like Guster. I like to sing with everybody. Even still, I'm thinking to myself, am I singing too loud? Is somebody perceiving me? I don't like that. And it's weird because I do like to be on stage myself. I guess I just don't like to be in the crowd of the stage.
All right.
You know yourself well. I mean, obviously,
Thank
you know yourself well.
About this, I've done a lot of thinking because it's obviously controversial.
That's your truth.
Thank you. And I'm not fun at concerts. So people will be like, do you want to go to a concert? At first I would be like, yeah, sure. And then I'm miserable there and I'm like dragging people down. And I'm like, you would have a better time without me. I'm going to tap myself out. My life is better. Your life is better.
That's funny. Guster, I can't even remember my kids at Jew camp, 2 different eras.
What is their thing?
They sang the 60s, classic 70s, and, Cat Stevens and
same. Mm-hmm.
Lean on Me. I'm sure you sang that song. 4, 5, it won't be long. Yes.
Yes.
Keep it moving to number 88, Simple Minds, Take a Step Back. Now, I'll take a step back. Do you know about John Hughes movies?
Yes.
Okay, so you know Don't You Forget About Me.
Yes.
Did you know that that's a Simple Minds song?
No.
Okay. So this is the band that sang that song. They're from Scotland as well.
Wow.
Holly, educate.
Yeah. Educate, please.
Yes, they are a Scottish band. I'm not even sure that I knew back in the 80s when the music came out that it didn't necessarily resonate with me that they were Scottish, probably until later. This song was actually from their 8th album, and I was thinking about their 8th album. This is only 1989. We came to them in the 80s. And they were putting out basically an album a year. I love the fact that Jim Kerr and Charlie Burchill were childhood friends and they still love each other, because we do talk about a lot of bands that were together, and also some books that we're reading about the era talk about the infighting in the bands and stuff. So that makes me like them even more. Going to concerts, when you talk about music, sometimes the bands are playing music you don't really know. I still enjoy it. And Simple Minds is a good example of, if there's songs that I'm not as familiar with, that I would love to see them play live.
I wish I was you in that way.
Yeah.
I just think it would make my life easier if I could be like, yeah, you know, I'm chill. Not with music, no.
But you did say you enjoyed this, or you liked all the music from this list. What were your impressions of this song?
It sounds like you too.
Okay. That's legit.
Thoughts?
I hear, do you know Europe's The Final Countdown?
Yeah, it sounds like that too.
Yes, it's a little overblown, overproduced. It's a little too much for me, but yeah, those were my impressions.
Ballad?
It's it's a power 80s song. This is like training. This is like a Rocky theme. Like, we're getting ready for a big fight. This is things are going to happen soon.
It sounds like that, and it also definitely sounds like in the John Hughes universe. Even though it wasn't, you can kind of tell like why the other songs were selected.
As we keep moving up to number 87, this is a band called The Creatures. The song is Standing There.
I love this song.
Okay.
This is one of the songs from this list that I love. Is it not PJ Harvey?
No, but it is.
Doesn't it sound like her though?
For sure. It's a precursor.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you were 100% correct.
Okay, wasn't that kind of a pull?
That was a good pull.
Thank you.
Yeah. but with
I'm proud of that.
A lot more percussive driving beat. I'm glad you love this. That's very cool. I like that. In the 70s, she was like a punk
gothy.
Yeah, but yeah, she was one of the first punks on the scene in the mid 70s with the Sex Pistols and those type of bands. And then in the 80s, she broke solo, and now she's doing this thing with her percussionist Budgie. She still performs. We saw her a couple years back, and she's still great, still wonderful.
That's awesome.
And you loved it. And Holly, you still were you into it?
Oh God, I loved this. I haven't listened to The Creatures in so long. I mean, I was a big Susie fan. I'm a Susie fan, but I hadn't listened to The Creatures in quite a while, so this was delightful.
Delightful. So you know PJ Harvey. It's okay.
I do.
Good for you.
I don't remember how I was first introduced to her, but I remember where I listened to her. You know what I mean? You know how you can do that? I can do that with podcasts, and I guess I can do it with music too. I was at my first job after college. I lived in Jackson, Mississippi, and I remember specifically listening there.
All right, that's another podcast. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
Jackson.
And I went to a few concerts then.
Okay, I know we have to go. Jewish girl in Mississippi. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay, but we can't talk about that. We got to keep moving. Number 86, David Byrne, Dirty Old Town. I'm sure you know David Byrne. Yes. Excellent.
I went to see his show on Broadway.
You did. And what were your
Yes.
impressions? You went to a show, Broadway.
I hate Broadway, as you can probably imagine from
God,
this.
Oh, okay.
I actually liked that though, because you are allowed to sit, and it was kind of a concert but with visuals.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just vibing with my mom.
It's a great vibe show.
really
It was
Sweet.
so vibey. And then I learned that David Byrne bikes around New York City.
Yeah, he bikes
What
to
a cool
all his
thing.
shows. He bikes to everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Talking Heads at all?
Yeah.
Did you go back, or you knew Talking Heads and your mom suggested? How did she sell you on David Byrne and going to an actual show to hear
think
music?
She loves David Byrne.
Okay.
And so she found out that he had this show and was like, do you want to go with me? And I was like, sure. And at first I was skeptical, and then I had a good time. It's good to go out of your comfort zone.
See, this is David Byrne's first solo record after he left the Talking Heads. The Talking Heads broke up, and he's doing this Latin music, and it's just fun. You want to move, you want to dance. It's completely different than something that you might have heard from the Talking Heads. Like, you can kind of see, like, okay, let David
There's
Byrne.
DNA there, though.
Yeah, for sure. And Holly, were you into it?
I enjoy him. I think he's a superb artist, and I do enjoy watching him. I don't dig deep on him, but yeah, I do enjoy this stuff.
You should dig
I
deep.
know.
I know you. I don't know
You
why.
should, you
Yeah,
should.
You
There are
should.
things you
There's
should do too.
many things. I know there are many things we should all do.
I had a therapist in LA who every time I said, I should do this, I should do that, he would say, you shouldn't should on yourself. And I like that.
Okay. Good
We're
advice.
not allowed to say should in my house. We don't think it's we don't like to say you should do this. We always have to come up with another word if we're recommending somebody or suggesting
nice.
somebody do something. Yeah.
That's a good rule of thumb.
I can thank my husband. I'm going to play this for him. He doesn't listen.
Sick.
Okay, number 85, The Pogues. Yeah, 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 yeah. Are you familiar with The Pogues? Is that like
I think so.
Okay, so like it's like
What else do they have?
You might not be familiar with a lot of their music. They're just like Irish folk punk band. Every Christmas they play the song "The Fairy Tale of New York," which is just a great cinematic Christmas song. It's always like number one in the UK, and it's pretty popular in the United States as well.
I mentioned earlier in our conversation that this feels like a history podcast to me, and I really feel like it's like a good history lecture.
Yeah.
And it also gives me homework, but in a fun way.
Yeah, of course.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes.
Okay, so did you watch the video? So Shane MacGowan is he's like this drunken poet. Well, he passed away a few years ago. He was part of the early punk movement as well. The Pogues are still performing as a band, but Shane was kind of the poet, the Bob Dylan of this genre. But this song that we played for you is just a little bit different. It's, the 60s soul vibe. Shane's got the crazy teeth. He didn't really take care of himself that well. Did you watch the video? What were your thoughts on
I
this?
did not watch the video.
Okay.
I didn't know that there was a video to go along with it.
You are just an audio
I'm
girl.
like not a visual person.
Always audio. Okay. What about video podcast? Can I, real quick? No. Video podcast? No. Perfect.
I mean, not for me. Not
Okay.
for me. I recognize that it's for some people. I love to give my eyes a break.
Okay. So listening to this song as you're roaming the streets of, do you have a dog? Do you have?
No, I walk myself.
Okay, good.
I try to walk for exercise either on the treadmill or on the streets.
Do you need to get your 10,000 steps in, or how many steps?
I used to be a big 10,000 steps person, but no, not lately. I've
Okay.
allowed myself to relax on that.
Going easy on yourself.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on this song? Do you have any thoughts?
Oh, this was just so much fun. It's funny that you say you're not the visual person, and I get that. I get distracted when something is only audio, so I am grateful for when Dave does these sheets. I love to watch. These links are all video. I'm so grateful for that because that keeps my attention much longer than just audio.
I searched for all of these on Spotify. I didn't even click the links.
So when you were a child, there was MTV, you had Total Request Live. Did you watch that at all?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, I was more on the cartoon circuit after school.
Cool.
Which means I still have a lot of theme songs memorized. So maybe you can do an episode on that in the future.
Oh, yeah.
I sometimes go on Spotify and I search theme songs. I love theme songs. Some of them are amazing.
Well, we talked with the 80s TV ladies about our favorite theme songs.
So fun.
Yeah. All right. Number 84, Erasure, Brother and Sister. Now, I know, okay, did you go to the clubs as a kid? Clearly not. You would not go to a dance club at all.
As a child.
Or no, well, I mean, like later, like you're in college and like, hey, you want to go out dancing?
Occasionally.
You would go out dancing.
But never to music that was like popular at the time. It would always be, maybe. But it was more like when I was in college, 2010 to 2014 was very Drake and other rap was often played at the fraternity parties.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't classic rock or anything like that.
Yeah. But you would, so you would cut it on the dance floor for
Sure,
two. Okay.
I try.
Yeah. Nice. You got a standard move? You got something?
No.
A go-to?
I have a standard. Is everybody looking at me? Oh, they're not. Okay.
Why aren't they looking at me?
Why aren't they looking at me? Oh, now they are. Stop doing things. Hide in the bathroom. That's what I have.
Okay. And cry. Okay. I
Not
got you.
actually hide in the bathroom.
Are you a Elaine Bennis type dancer? Is that what was happening? Okay.
Definitely not. I'm more of like a barely moving my knees back and forth and thinking that I'm moving really big.
It's all arms or... Well, what did you think of this dance song by Erasure, Brother and Sister?
I love this.
Okay.
Every one of these, I need to remind myself what they sound like because, they're not in my head as they probably are with you guys. So apologies for constantly needing to press play.
That's good. We're still that way as well. So don't worry.
I love this one. I thought it was fun. And also, speaking of visuals, album art is beautiful too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Erasure was great with that. If you want your head to explode with delight, there's another song on this list. It's called Stop by Erasure, which is like one of their iconic songs.
Okay.
And that gets me going, even though I don't want to. I mean, I just hear the music and my foot start to tap and I just keep it moving. That's one of the fun songs, which this one wasn't one of my favorites from the band, but I do enjoy hearing Erasure. They always make me smile. Hearing Andy Bell's voice is great, and the production. So Holly, where are you on Brother and Sister?
I like this song. It's hard to reconcile. I don't know if you know the lyrics. Or I looked at the refreshed myself on the lyrics. This is kind of a heavy song. You usually get happy when you hear synth, unless it's Joy Division or New Order. But these were kind of heavy, these lyrics. But I really like the song.
This
a
song
lot.
rocks. I didn't even think to look at the lyrics.
Well, that's what's
I don't usually. That's not my thing. Dave's more the lyric guy. I'm more the music person. But I did want to look at these, and
I am shocked that you looked up the lyrics, especially with Erasure. I mean, I mean that's what some of the fun things about music is. Like, you could be dancing to something like, wait, what am I dancing to? What you look up the lyrics and that might ruin the vibe. So yeah, with dance music, it's it could be interesting. What was going on in Brother and Sister? Anything that you want to share?
To pollute the mind of a minor, the only escape from the rigors of life, pretend we're a family and try to believe in the virtues of truth. Round and round, caught up in a tangle of lies and deception.
And then you're dancing.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's sad to me.
Family doesn't often get talked about in music, I feel like. It's very lovers focused. And so when it is family, it's like, it stands out, I think.
And I don't know, is anybody going to be writing about their happy family? Right. I'm not sure. Does that make for great music?
Sometimes, I mean, again, you go back to those songs that you sang at camp, right? Those were all family related. Cat Stevens and Lean on Me.
Yeah.
And like, those
Makes
are all
you
like,
cry.
right, exactly. Those are songs like bonding together. They last through the decades. It's because you could still sing them at camp and everyone learns the words. What were some of your favorite songs?
Generally speaking, I feel like the Indigo Girls permeated at camp. Another one was Life is a Highway.
There you go.
I don't know why.
Tom
Every
Cochrane.
year we would make a playlist, by the way, of songs. And they were often from all eras. Another huge one was, what's the Beatles song that's like, You and I Have Memories Far Beyond... Strawberry, no.
It's from Let It Be.
Yeah.
You and I have memories.
It's so beautiful.
Flowing, Two of Us by the Beatles.
Yes. We woke up every day to it in 2002. And
it's a good one.
Isn't that crazy?
No, it's a good one. Yeah. I get it.
The camp is that was the most impactful on my kids, so I know that they will remember all
Totally.
things like that. That was like their more than any school.
I'm sure I could come up with way more and align them with each summer. And it's not something that I think about a lot. It's just, I'm sure that they stick in your head in a different way. Yeah.
Number 83, Violent Femmes, Nightmares. I am a big fan of this band. They're from Milwaukee. He's got like this Robert Smith kind of a weird voice. Like, is this really something that they play on the radio? And the song's just kind of cheeky fun. What'd you think of this, Holly?
Oh, God, I loved this. And again, loved watching the video. I love his Gordon Geno's voice, his stare, just the way he was looking. It was a little smirky. But yes, I love the song too. I know I'm talking about the video, but the song, his voice, it's a standout. It was a standout in the 80s. There's no question it's him.
This is one of those bands that you recognize because of the quirkiness of his voice. You always know, oh, this is a Violent Femmes song.
It was fun for me to hear a Violent Femmes song that was not Blister in the Sun, right?
You're right. Good job. You know Blister in the Sun.
I feel like that's the one that carried through, and they have other good stuff. So this was a treat.
Even though he says, "Oh, I have nightmares getting back together with you," is it because?
Oh yeah.
He does want to get back together with her.
I was thinking if it were a movie, at the end there would be like a cheeky, "Of course we're back together." If this were like IP translated, they would get back together.
Holly, is he saying if he was singing this about you, would you get back together with him? Does it sound like he's like okay?
Yes, I would.
All right.
I would.
If he played,
I would go running into his arms.
If it was like Valentine's Day and this is a song that was played, you're like, you know what? We are meant to be together.
Yes.
You're all okay. Both of you back in.
Especially if he was looking at me like with that Gordon Gano, yes, with the eyes. If he was focused on me.
Okay. Good to know. All right. Number 82, the B-52s' Cosmic Thing. As I put in my notes, if you don't love this song, we can't be friends. So
Correct.
Can we be friends?
We can.
Okay, great.
I love the B-52s.
Okay, good.
Yay.
I feel like I know a lot of the B-52s.
Yes.
Rome makes me cry. Why does Rome make me cry?
Just go
Is
in.
it about freedom?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Freedom's just another
I
word.
put that in your mouth and then I agreed.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, like traveling the world and just seeing new sights and, new discoveries. Rome is one of my favorites, also from that Cosmic Thing album.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, from 89. Do you know the other song? Another big song that was on that album?
Probably. Is it Love Shack? No,
yes.
that wouldn't be it.
Yes.
Okay.
That is
sick.
it. Don't backtrack. Say
Okay, I just thought maybe it sonically was a different identity, but good. I'm
That's
on.
a good observation.
Thank you.
Yes. This is fun dance. This is music where you can just dance like a goofball. Erasure, you have to have something, like serious moves. With B-52s, it's just insanity.
You just bounce.
You're just bouncing. It's just so much fun. Holly, are you into the Cosmic Thing?
Yeah, I hadn't listened to this song in a long time, so this was really fun. We saw them play live recently at the Hollywood
So
Bowl.
cool.
They are reaching the age though where they can't quite keep up with the music. I know it was. I also think, speaking of movie, you might know that like the Flintstones. Did you see the Flintstones as a kid?
The movie?
Yes, with John Goodman.
Yes.
Okay.
In theaters, I think.
Yes,
But I don't remember that in the movie.
Okay, the B-52s did the music for the theme
That's
song.
awesome.
The theme song, I believe.
Wow.
Yes. The B-52s are a fun band to go down the rabbit hole of just. Are you familiar with like Rock Lobster? Have you heard of that?
Yeah,
one?
of course.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know, of course.
I don't know. I feel my music taste is so weird.
That's good.
I would love to go through my songs with you and just have you be like, what? I have a whole playlist dedicated to basically I let myself free associate and then I add this song reminds me of this, must find it, add it to a playlist. So they're all over the place.
Okay, so you have curated playlists for music, a few, I'm sure, not as many as
a few.
podcasts. What do you label them as?
Do you want the honest answer?
Of course.
Yes.
It's called While I'm High and then the date. So I think it's like really good music if you're on my exact level.
Okay. What is,
So you label them that way. How do you know that this is the one you want to go back to?
I don't.
Number 81, The Replacements, Aching to Be. So these are a bunch of guys from Minneapolis. I think they were banned from Saturday Night Live because of their just being drunken fools. And that's why we love them. They like to mix it up and not necessarily play perfect songs. But Paul Westerberg, much like Shane MacGowan, just a drunken poet, just a brilliant songsmith, and just wrote these achingly beautiful songs that he loved to mess around with. The band were notorious for the stage would be coming their way, like here's our big moment, and they would just, like they say, on the ladder to success, we take the first step and miss the whole first rung. And this is kind of what they did. And Aching to Be is one of those of like, we want to be big stars. What do you think of just listening to this song, not knowing, like, just as the song? Just
This was one I could leave. I thought it was fine. And none of these songs was I like, this is not my vibe. Like, I hate it and I feel like I need to skip it. This is one that I was like, okay. Yeah, it's an era. What else did the Replacements do, though? Because I feel like I recognize the sound.
Oh, boy.
Probably I'll Be You.
Alex Chilton. They were on this independent Minneapolis label, and they became like college rock stars. This was one of my favorite bands when I was in college because they were such fuck-ups. And because the lyrics, though, were just so amazing, and it's just like this punk rock poetry, I just fell in love with them. I saw them many, many times, and you never knew what you were going to get. Sometimes they would switch instruments and just play, the lead singer would go on the drum kit.
That's
and
fun.
The guitarist would be on the bass. And then, it was always just nuttiness, but it was just endeared themselves to me. This album, like in 89, they went to a major label. And, so they're trying to create some hits, I think, possibly like maybe we can get on the radio. And so this was one of those songs. I would imagine it's not the best entry into the Replacements in their style. But Holly, did you like the song?
Love this song.
Billboard had a chart that was like the alternative rock hits.
Oh, wow.
Started in 89.
Yeah, they called it the modern rock chart. And so this was one of those songs that made it on the chart, not necessarily the top 40, but this was the genre that was played.
Aside from REM, probably the most emblematic of our college years, I would say. Yeah.
I love REM.
You should.
I'm surprised they're not on this.
They will be later on. There's they have
Closer, obviously.
in 89 they had an album called Green that came out.
Cool.
Yeah, so there'll be a number of those songs. Your parents play music for you, I guess.
Yeah, my mom more than my dad. My mom used to work at a radio station on Long Island. That she just worked in the finance department, but it definitely exposed her to music. And she had a pretty big collection. She loves the Grateful Dead and now Dead and Company.
Yeah.
Saw them at the Sphere.
Oh, that's awesome.
Goes pretty often. Loves music.
What radio station did she work?
I'll find out and let you know. And I won't know off the top of my head, but it was a cool one.
we're thinking WLIR.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I'm surprised you didn't lead with that.
It didn't hit me. It's definitely a part of me.
There you go. It's in your DNA. You know what? We'll sit you down. We'll go to a show where we could sit down. We'll figure something out for you.
Fine.
Do you ever make it out to LA again? Or are you just strictly in New York?
Yeah. My sister lives there. I have a lot of family there. I go probably twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's party.
Let's party for sure.
Okay. And we've taken way more of your time than we intended.
No worries. I moved some meetings and I'm happy to do it because they were boring internal business things.
Can you briefly tell us about what it was like to be a Hall of Famer, like to step up on stage and accept an award as a Podcast Hall of Fame member, inductee?
It was weird. First of all of my family came, like 2 aunts, an uncle, 2 cousins, mom, dad, like friends. It was great. And that was nice and weird. It felt like I was at a kindergarten recital for myself. And they brought me roses. And it was weird because I was young. It felt funny in that way. It was also very Christian, like actively, outwardly. 2 people who were nominated were like change makers in the Christian podcast space. And then I'm up there and I'm giving my speech. And it's not explicitly Jewish, but by dint of who I am, it was Jewish. And some of the jokes that I shared were New York humor that did not really pass in a room full of Nashvillians. And it was just like a funny experience overall. And being on stage in general, I like being on stage. I like speaking, but I like speaking more off the cuff. And I learned that I probably should have written down just an outline, not a full speech, because I felt compelled to look down at the speech. It was fine from the outside, but to me, I was like, ugh, I didn't love it. But grateful to have been inducted, and it's a huge honor, and I hope it means that I, continue to innovate rather than take it as a "I made it, nothing left to do" sign.
Did it strike you as weird? Like, okay, I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And what did what did the people say?
So I made a LinkedIn post about this saying, like, here are the feelings that I felt. I felt insecure. I felt undeserving. I felt this, but then I grouped my feelings into like negative to positive. And by the end of it, I was like, here's what I'm going to do with it. And one of the people who nominated and confirmed me as an inductee was like, this speaks to what you've done and what we think you can do with what you've done. So that relieved me.
Who was it who inducted you?
The person who actually inducted me on the stage was my friend Lauren Pacell, who writes a newsletter called Podcast the Newsletter and runs a company called Tink Media. But the person who commented who's one of the founders of the Hall of Fame is named Rob Greenlee.
You've done so much for the people who are voting. To have them acknowledge how enormous your contribution has been, it's, not just validating. It's
right.
It is.
I have to believe that they would not have confirmed, they wouldn't have allowed it to happen if they didn't believe it was true, so that I am grateful for.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It really is a huge honor.
Yeah, we've had Rock and Roll Hall of Fame members on, and now we have a Podcast Hall of Fame member on the podcast. Oh, yeah.
You're going to get an EGOT.
There you
somehow.
go. Thank you. Thank you for spending so much time with us. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for reintroducing me to music, because it had been a while since I sought out new to me music. So that was fun.
Love
and
it.
I will genuinely listen to some of these again, like right now.
Okay, so did we learn something? Usually we learn some sort of history. Now we're in the future, Holly. How do we improve ourselves in the future?
And we actually taught Arielle, as she acknowledged, some history. But for the future, she has taught us quite a bit. What a lovely person. What a knowledgeable and passionate person. I got so much from talking with her.
I had some good opinions about the music, so good guest. We'll have her back. Maybe we'll have her back. We'll get her back. Let's get her back. What's she doing? We'll see what she's doing next week. Maybe we'll get her back next week.
I would be all in for that.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about where they can find additional information about. We're supposed to plug our stuff. So go ahead, Holly. Plug our stuff.
You will find clips of this interview with Arielle on our YouTube channel at What Difference Does It Make Podcast and on all social media at WDDIM Podcast. Join us there, won't you?
Yes, you can sign up for our newsletter, wddimpodcast.com. This is your first time. If you have never heard our podcast, welcome to it. I would highly recommend you subscribe, possibly give us a review. What'd you think of this? Listen to some other episodes. Let us know. We love to hear from you. So please let us know. And hopefully you will subscribe because we have new episodes every Friday. Now comes the time where we wrap it up, as we do. Until next week, this is Dave.
This is Holly.
Check you later.
Over and out.